What's up, everybody? It's Endo Jeans Reacts. I'm Jordan.
I'm Zach.
So today we got our podcast. We didn't do it last week. We've been crazy busy with basketball starting up. This week's focus is on centers, but we're just going to go over. There's been quite a few things happening in the last couple of weeks. First off, tomorrow, which today's Friday for us, this is going to come out tomorrow on Saturday. Huge game in college basketball or college football. It's going to have playoff implications. Georgia and Tennessee play.
Yeah.
Georgia wins, they're most likely going to be in the playoff. Tennessee wins, as long as they don't lose to Vanderbilt, they're most likely going to be on the playoffs. We're from Tennessee. I'm a Tennessee fan, so it's a huge game for us. Georgia has a couple players out. I think their starting running back might be out. Tennessee might not have their quarterback, so I don't know what to expect, but I'm super excited for it. I might have mentioned this before, but I coach basketball. Zach, even though he's on the high school team, he helps me coach. Last week we went 2-0. This week we play two hard teams, so I'm not guaranteeing anything for this week, and we have struggled all week in practice, so I don't know how it's going to go. What else happened this week? NFL, I don't even want to talk about because both of my teams are terrible. Cowboys and the Titans are absolutely terrible. Like, I don't even care to watch them. College basketball, our favorite team is Duke. They lost to Kentucky this week, which sucks because out of all the teams I don't want to lose to, North Carolina and Kentucky are the two that I absolutely hate. I'm trying to think of other sports where if anything happened. I don't know, but in the NBA on Wednesday night, I don't know what was in the water, but a lot of big games happened, or it wasn't big games. A lot of players had big games Wednesday night. The worst one out of all of them, Jordan Poole scored 42 points. I don't know how that would be the worst one because that's a lot of points.
Yeah, that'd be number one on most nights.
Yeah, and I can't stand Jordan Poole, but that's pretty impressive. The next less impressive one, LeBron had a triple-double, third triple-double in a row, I think, third or fourth. 35 points, 14 assists, and 12 rebounds, which is for a 40.
Yeah, he's 40, basically.
Or he's about to be 40.
39.
Yeah, he's going to be 40 next month. But for a 40-year-old man to get 3 triple-doubles in a row and a triple-double like that is just crazy to me. Because I'm a year younger than him, and I couldn't imagine being out there doing that 82 games. Well, he ain't going to play 82 games, but doing that every single night. And this was impressive, but it wasn't even the most impressive thing of the night. Wemby, who we talked about it this summer in the Olympics, we talked about how much he's improved and stuff like that, but he scored his first 50-point game, which
hitting 8 threes.
It's just crazy that 7'4" can handle the ball, can shoot the way he can, and you said it was only in 20-something minutes?
26 minutes.
That is absolutely psycho. 50 points in 26 minutes. But, I mean, we said it this summer when we watched him in the Olympics. We're like, because USA couldn't stop him. We were like, this dude is he's about to take, LeBron's on his way out. The NBA's in good hands with Wemby.
Yeah.
And I used to be a Spurs fan when they had Tim Duncan. So, for me, it's exciting to see the Spurs have somebody like this. And then the best game of the night, Giannis. Did you hear his numbers?
I didn't see his game.
Scored 59 points, 7 assists, and 14 rebounds.
See, I didn't even see that game.
59 points. Okay, the most points I ever scored in a game was 38. And I felt like I shot the ball every single time.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine.
And I know Giannis didn't shoot no three, so it was all
He was 1 for 2 from 3 in that game. And my game that I scored 30 what did I say? I scored 36.
38.
It was 36. It wasn't 38. I hit 8 threes. So it's like he's doing this by not hitting threes.
He had to, 25 shots, 25, 26 shots?
And the thing is,
he made 26.
Yeah, and I forgot what his shooting percentage was, but it was psycho.
Yeah.
He barely missed any shots. But I could not imagine scoring 59 points in a game. I would feel like I'm shooting every time. And you have Dame. So it's like you have another go-to scorer. That I don't know. I don't remember when I looked at the stats. But that's just absolutely psycho to me. Like 59 points. Like I know there's been games bigger than that, but for Giannis, somebody that's not a shooter and like gets like 90% of his points on drives.
Yeah.
It's
He
just-
had 7 assists too, so he was still passing.
Yeah. And then of course he dominates on the boards because he was might be the hardest working player in the NBA probably, because Westbrook doesn't get as much playing time no more. But all right, so now we are going over our best centers in the NBA right now and the best centers of all time. In the NBA right now, it's a little bit easier because a lot of people don't play the center position anymore. But all time, man, talking about it was hard. But you want to start or you want me to start?
Well, I got Jokic, that's my one.
I got Jokic as my one. And then I'm just going to go ahead and throw in my two. I got Embiid as a two.
I got Embiid.
But the reason I'm going to throw that in there, because a lot of people say choose Embiid over Jokic. But the thing about Embiid is, I think Embiid is more gifted scoring-wise. But I think
Jokic controls the game every night.
yeah, and I think he might be the best passing center of all time.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I got him above Embiid. Embiid can drop 50 any night. That's crazy to say.
Yeah.
But he can drop 50. Well, actually, right now, since he came back from injury, he's looked out of shape bad. Like, really
He's only
bad.
played, what, 1 game, though?
1 or 2 games, yeah. But he's looked out of shape. But Jokic passing skills, that's what, to me, sets him above Embiid, because they both can score. They both can rebound. And it's just impressive because Jokic is so slow and chubby and
No vertical at all.
yeah, no vertical. He plays below the rim, but yet he scores. He just plays the game the right way. Well, I'm not saying Embiid plays the game the right way too. He just plays differently.
Yeah.
And the thing I like about Embiid though is Embiid can play bully ball. Like he'll like put his body into you and move you out the way. Kind of reminds me of a Shaq kind of. But I think those two are 1 and 2, and I don't think it's close right now. But somebody's on their way to catch him. Who's your 3?
Wemby.
Wemby's my 3. He's on his way. But Wemby plays completely different than them because Wemby plays outside, and both of those guys play inside out.
He's really positionless, but you got to include him.
But he's a center because he's 7'4" and he can play down low. But the fact that his shooting game, the only thing that worries me about Wemby is he's so thin. I worry about injuries. Yeah, but I'm still worried about injuries. But he's so skilled, and the fact that he had a 50-point game this year, like, he's on his way to be up there in the same conversation with them two. Who's your 4?
Bam Adebayo.
I got Bam too. And Bam's not going to score the points that the other ones score, but he's going to be the best player on the floor defensively. He can handle the ball. He can make good passes. I'm not sure how his shot is.
I mean, he hits one every now and then. He don't shoot a lot of threes, but when he does, I'm saying as a 6'9" center and him dominating all the other 7-foot centers in the league on boards and defense, I mean, it's like crazy. He's only 6'9", 6'10".
Okay, so I don't watch a lot of NBA recently anyways because of my work schedule, but what I have watched of him, he kind of reminds me a little bit of a shorter version of
Dwight Howard?
yes, very much so.
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of Dwight. The way he plays, he's bouncy, he plays good defense, like he'll rebound the ball.
Yeah.
Like he kind of reminds me of Dwight Howard.
They got the same kind of build.
Yeah.
They're both just big.
Dwight's just a little bit taller than him.
Yeah.
My 5, I hate this person, but
Mine was up and up. I didn't know.
well, the thing is, the center position is disappearing in the NBA, so there's not that many centers. But I feel like I had to put this person in. Who'd you put?
Cat.
See, I didn't even put Cat on my list, so I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I was thinking that I put him as no, because my power forward's up here. So that's who I should have put. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't put Cat on my list. Cat's my 5. I had Gobert. Cat's my 5. Cat's better than Gobert.
Not even on my dang.
Yeah, so
This is
I'm changing mine.
So bad.
Yeah, I'm changing mine. because I didn't even put Cat in my power forward list is sitting here too, and I didn't put him on my power forward list. Yeah, Cat's mine. Cat can shoot. The only thing I don't like about Cat is I feel like he doesn't have that drive to be. I don't know.
With his shooting ability, he could, and his size, he could be the best center in the league. But
I feel like he doesn't have that go getter though. He does against certain teams. It's like when he, because him and Jaw have this relationship. I feel like when he goes against the Grizzlies, he plays hard all the time. When he goes against certain teams, he plays hard all the time. But then I feel like if you played that way every single game, he would be better than what he is. But it's like he picks his games. But now that he's on the Knicks, though, he can thrive.
Getting a championship. But his 3-point shooting is insane for a guy that's 7 foot.
Yeah, he's a really good 3-point shooter. I just wish he would spend a little bit more time down low. But I mean, it's the new NBA. It's shooting threes. So
I had a close 6, like he's very close to 5. But I had Chet.
Chet's on there. I got Chet as my number 1, but I also had Gobert at 5. So we can talk about Chet. Chet is kind of like Wemby,
but
he's not as good as
Wemby.
How?
Yeah, he did say he put on about 10, 15 pounds of muscle, but the way I forgot what team they were playing the other night, but he was just dominating the center. The center was way bigger than him. So I was like, how in the world is he dominating him?
Well, Chet is like thin. He's what, 7'2"?
Yeah.
And he can handle the ball and he can shoot and he's a pretty good passer. So him and Wemby play a lot alike. It's just Wemby's. I mean, that 2 inches makes a difference.
I feel like he handles the ball way more than Chet does because, I mean, Chet has Shea and Jalen Williams.
Yeah. But, yeah, Chet's definitely on the rise, too. I just hate he had to sit out a whole year because I feel like he would be even more advanced than he is now if he didn't have to sit out that year. I'm going to go ahead and talk about Gobert. Gobert is still one of the best defensive players in the NBA. Mm-hmm. I feel like he doesn't play with energy. That's what frustrates me.
See, that's what I was going to say because it seems like when he was on the Jazz, he used to go for every block. Now it seems like when I watch the Timberwolves play, that he's always a second step late on everything. So it's like he's always a second step late to block, or he's getting dunked on, or he's getting laid on. So it's like.
And I know he has all the defensive player of the years, but last year he 100% did not deserve it. Wemby's numbers were way better than him.
Draymond Green numbers were way better than his.
And I don't know, I don't understand why he got. I think they had one of the best records in the NBA, didn't they? Yeah. I feel like that's the only reason he got it because Wemby's numbers were crazy compared to his defensively. Wemby should have won Defensive Player of the Year.
Giannis could have won it over him. Giannis had crazy numbers.
The thing is, Gobert's so big, and he's actually like physically big, like not just tall. He should be dominating on offense, and the fact that he's just trash on offense,
like all he do is just a cone standing out there.
Yeah, he just catches lobs. Like
I hate to say this, but I hate watching him play offense because it's so bad.
All right, so the next guy I don't know nothing about, but you do on my list. I got. I don't know nothing about him. He plays for Houston, right?
Yeah, he's. Even Shaq said he's going to be he's young, so he's going to be one of the best centers next to come in the next 5 years.
See, I don't know anything about him.
He plays just like an athletic Jokic, just, a little bit lesser in every category. Yeah. But he's just like a Jokic type, just athletic.
I don't think I've watched a Houston game in years, so probably since James Harden played for him. Yeah. So, I mean, we don't get Houston games here. They don't come on TV because they're not a really good team. So, I just haven't seen them play.
He can shoot, he can pass, he plays defense. He can handle it sometimes. So, I mean, he's just like another younger version of Jokic.
All right, who you have on there?
Sabonis.
See, how did I not put him on there? Because he's not on my power forward list either. I don't know how I didn't put. He should be closer to the
top 5. Yeah, he was
top 5.
Number 7.
I don't know how I didn't put him on there, but yeah, Sabonis plays a lot like his dad, except for he's a better outside shooter.
Yeah,
and he's not as good of a passer.
I thought he was like 6'10". He's 7'2". I did not know he was 7'2".
I didn't know he was that. Are you sure he's that tall?
I'm pretty sure he's 7'2".
His dad was like 7'2", but I think he's only like 6'10". But he's left-handed. He can pass. He can shoot. He can dribble a little bit. He rebounds the ball good. Like, yeah, I miss some players.
And he's playing on a really good team.
Yeah, and their team is loaded this year. And he's pretty sure he's been the best player on that team this year.
Yeah. I'm just gonna fact check this to make sure I don't sound stupid. Yeah, he is 6'10". I was lying.
Okay. Yeah, you probably seen
He
his
looked
dad.
taller on screen.
I think his dad's like 7'2".
I got Evan Mobley next because I mean he's one
I
of the
didn't
other
even put.
centers.
Yeah, I didn't even put him on my list.
And he's got a 3-point shot now, so.
And he can rebound and he can play defense.
Yeah.
But he's starting to develop his game. I got Miles Turner.
Yeah, he's on there too. I was gonna talk about him because he's playing with one of the best passers in the league, so he's getting a lot of looks.
And he can shoot, and he's one of the best shot blockers in the league. And his downfall is he doesn't have the motor. Like if he was going hard all the time, I feel like he would be one of the. His game resembles like a. I mean, his game kind of resembles like a. What am I trying to think of? Like Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
It's just he doesn't like how you said earlier. He's under how you say his name, Sengun or whatever.
Single.
Yeah, how he's not. It's like he's like a step lower in every category. Yeah. That's how he is with Karl Anthony Towns. He's like a step lower in every category than Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
But yeah, he could be better. And this year the Pacers are pretty good, so he could rise. Okay, this is my last one.
I ain't got no more.
I got Vucevic.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Like,
I thought he's been injured for the past like 2 years.
When he plays though, he's a double every single night. Like he's gonna score 15 to 17 points and he's gonna grab 10 to 12 rebounds every single night. It's just he plays on the terrible Bulls.
Yeah.
Like Grizzlies. I know you got some young bigs. Dude, this is a guy you need to go after. Because he reminds me of us like some of the, yeah, or well he doesn't play defense like Mark though, but he reminds me of a what's the one that Steven Adams and people like that. Like he's physical, he can shoot a little bit, and he's gonna grab rebounds and he can score 15 points every night. Like I've liked him since he was on the Magic, and when he went to the Bulls with that loaded Bulls team that just didn't work out, I was like, dude, this is a perfect fit for him. But the Bulls just was terrible. They had a bunch of injuries but all right, you ready to move on to the all-time list?
Yeah.
All right, so I got
number 1.
I put Kareem.
I did too.
Okay.
In my opinion, he's the top 5 player of all time. So
with Kareem, I mean, obviously he's a second leading scorer of all time now. But he was a good passer. Like he has dominated the league for 20 years, so it's hard to not put him on there. He's great defensively. The only reason I almost put him in second place is
he met Bill Russell every game or every championship lost.
It wasn't that. It was he played after Bill.
I thought they played. Oh, it was Wilt that lost to Bill every year.
Yeah. The only issue I have with him is I believe he would be able to score against some other centers that I have on my list, but I don't think he would be able to guard some of the centers that I have on my list.
He was long. He had like a 7'8" wingspan.
My number 2 player, I don't think anybody all time could guard him.
Okay, but my next 3 are like they could all be in the number 2 spot. I feel like they're all pretty close. But I had Wilt as my number 2.
My number 2 is Shaq.
He's my number 3. Then I had Hakeem at 4.
Okay, so Shaq, I don't think any center in any era could guard Shaq.
Yeah, I don't think nobody in the world can guard Shaq.
Shaq was. If you're young, go back and watch old Shaq in the early 2000s. Nobody could guard him. Like, I don't think any center. Kareem, Bill, Wilt, Hakeem handled him when he was young, but that was a young Shaq.
Yeah.
Like Shaq in the early 2000s, I don't think Hakeem could handle him like physically. The only thing with Shaq is he couldn't shoot and he couldn't shoot free throws.
Yeah. But I had Wilt just because he was the best bucket getter of all time.
See, I got Wilt 4. I got Bill Russell 3.
You got Hakeem?
I got Hakeem 5.
I heard Hakeem was like arguably the best skilled center of all time.
I guess we'll just.
That's just off of what I've heard.
Okay, who'd you have 3?
I had Shaq 3.
Okay, who's your 2? Wilt?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about Wilt. The only thing I know about Wilt is what I read. obviously he scored anytime he wanted to.
Yeah.
They said he was crazy athletic.
Yeah, they said he had, like, he could bench 300 and he had like a 40-something inch vertical, which in my opinion is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's absolutely psycho. The thing is, yeah, he scored 100 points a game, but would he be able to do that in today's game? No. But I do think he would be able to score.
And he'll play defense.
And he'll play defense. The only thing is, Will doesn't have, dude averaged 50 points a game
Yeah,
in one
so,
season.
I went back to the stats and it said 1961,
Yeah.
50. The next year, 48.
And
the
I
next
think in
year,
those years, he was
47.
also averaging like 20 rebounds a
Yeah.
game or something like that. So he has psycho numbers. The only reason I have him 4 is because I think about, like, could he do that against, like, more... obviously, he couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But what kind of numbers would he put up against
His
more
like
present
50
day?
points per game back then was like
It's probably like
28,
30
30
something
now.
Yeah, it's probably like 30 something now. But I did do a report on him. I did like a thing on him in high school. But to me, his most impressive number is he slept with over 10,000 women.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
He supposedly had 4 or 5 women a night
I
sometimes.
don't tell how many kids he's got out there.
Yeah, he's probably got a ton of kids. So we'll talk about Bill Russell real quick. Bill Russell, great
my
defensive
boss.
player.
11 championships.
11 champions. That's what puts him so high for me. He's got 11
I
championships.
just didn't know how good his offense. Like I knew he could play defense, but like
His
offensively,
offense-
I never heard anything about his offense.
But he wasn't great offensive. But he played with a lot of, I'll just spit. He
I
played
knew he
with a
was left-handed.
lot of, yeah, I knew he was left-handed. A lot of great,
Offensive players,
Yeah.
like with Kevin McHale.
sorry, my roommate's cooking something. Yeah, he played with a lot of great offensive players, but back then there was literally only like 8 to 10 teams in the league. So
Yeah.
every team was loaded.
That's
But-
the only reason I had him at number 5 because I didn't know anything about his offensive game.
But 11 championships is crazy.
Yeah.
That's absolutely psycho. Even if there was only
Somebody's only
8 to
playing
10
11
teams.
years.
Yeah.
And he had 11 championships.
And then 2 of the years, or I think, y'all comment if I'm wrong, 1 or 2 of those championships, he not only was he the player, he was the coach.
What? Oh, so he had 11 rings in total?
No, he played and coached at the same
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
Like back then, you could play and coach at the same time.
That's crazy.
It'd be like LeBron right now deciding he was the head coach. Plus,
Yeah. Was it like some night you pick?
no, I don't know how that makes sense. Maybe Red Arbor.
Because I know he was a coach at one time. Like he was wearing like the tuxedo. and
No.
everything.
I'm pretty sure he was playing and coaching at the exact same
Oh,
time.
they didn't have a coach. It was him.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
But then, now that I think about it, though, on that Lakers documentary, or it was like it wasn't a real documentary. It was the one, the Showtime Lakers or whatever.
Yeah,
It was kind of like
Magic.
it had funniness, and they exaggerated a little bit. Red Auerbach, who was the coach for all those championships, he was still part of the Celtics. So now I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if he moved up like in the front office or something, and
Yeah.
then Bill Russell took over. I don't know. But then my 5 is Akeem. I actually got to watch Akeem. That was a little bit before your time, but I've told him about Akeem. Akeem's probably one of the most skilled offensively. This
I know
dude,
his defensive numbers were crazy.
I used to collect basketball cards. This dude, like, had the most impressive defensive stats I've ever seen. So, like,
4 or 5 blocks a game.
the thing is, like, if you get over 300 blocks in a season, that's crazy impressive for a center. If you get over 200 steals as a guard, that's crazy impressive. This dude would have 300 blocks and 200 steals in the same season. Like, his numbers were absolutely crazy. He won 2 championships. He would have won more if the Bulls wouldn't have been there. Probably. Well, I don't know, because he didn't even make it to the championship against the Bulls.
Yeah.
He ran into like some of those loaded Western Conference teams, like the Trailblazers and the Suns, and then the Jazz. He ran into some of those teams, and Spurs too, back when they had David. But man, if he would have won more championships, he probably would be top 2 or 3. Like,
Yeah.
for me, he's one of my favorite people to watch just because he played the game differently than everybody else. All right, who's your first honorable mention?
David Robinson.
He was my second, so we can talk about him. I said I was a Spurs fan, so I know a lot about David. I was a Spurs fan when Tim Duncan came there, but David was crazy athletic.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, absolutely crazy. Later on in his career, his mid-range was like, his shot was funky, but it went in. Block shots.
So he was 7'2".
7'2". He was fast.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I've seen videos of him running. It's crazy.
and his upper body was built like Dwight Howard's. Like his shoulders were wide. He was like, he had a thick upper body and a little bitty waist. Like he was just, I mean, he was a military guy. He got drafted in 87, but I don't think he came to the NBA until 89 or something like that because of the military. So yeah, I just loved watching him play, even late in his career. And he's a good person. He's one of the best people to ever play in the NBA. My number one honorable mention was Moses Malone.
He's my number 2.
That was a little bit before your time, but he put up.
Didn't he win 2, 3 MVPs?
I know he won some MVPs. I think he
won 2 back-to-back.
Don't quote me on this, but I think he was the first player to go straight from high school to the NBA.
Yeah,
and that was in the 70s or 80s.
I thought he won a national championship with San Francisco. Like back whenever they were running college basketball. I thought he won a championship.
I don't know. I could have swore I read somewhere that he was the first straight from high school. But anyways, he dominated offensively. In that league, it was him and Kareem in the early 80s. Yeah. Those were the 2 best centers. And then he played with Dr. J. So I think they won. Yeah, they won a championship in the early 80s. So, but he just dominated. Of course, I never got to watch him play. But I remember reading his stats on basketball or on basketball cards and stuff like that. And I just know what other people say about him. All right, who's your 3?
Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Ewing's mine. I actually got to watch him play. He was slow.
See, I didn't even know he was slow.
But he was like big and physical. And he had a meanness to him that I liked. But he offensively, he was very skilled around the basket. He developed a mid-range game. His shot was funky too. But he was a typical Georgetown center. They almost all, I mean, Shaq says this all the time. What did he say? I forgot what Shaq said. Fake left, spin right, hook shot or something like that. He said something about all the Georgetown centers did that or something like that. But
who else came from Georgetown?
Lonzo Mourning, which I didn't put him on my list, but he's definitely up there. Yeah. It was Alonzo, Patrick Ewing, and I think it was
Patrick Ewing.
Dikembe Mutombo, I think might have came. Yeah, he ended up coaching for like a few years, but he didn't do that good of a job. I think he's assistant now. But
so I know he got dunked on by Michael Jordan, and that was big.
A lot of people got dunked on by Michael Jordan.
But he said it at the Olympics, like, you haven't dunked on me yet, and then he dunked on me.
But he played on. I seen him a lot because I'm a Spurs fan. I keep saying that, but the Knicks played the Spurs one year in the championship, and he was their best player on that Knicks team, even though he was older. That was like later in his career, but he was very dominant. You have any more on your list?
I had put it away. Oh, I'll put Jokic just because he's won 3 MVPs.
I did put Jokic on mine too. I think he still has a ways to go.
Yeah.
But
he has potential to be a top 5 center.
But I just don't know if he'll play in the NBA long enough because he just enjoys life. So I don't know if he'll be in the NBA long enough. And I got Dwight Howard on my list. Brought his team
I forgot you told me about him going as the best center for 8 years.
Yeah. He dominated, and I hated Dwight when he played. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't think he was that good. When I went back and looked at his numbers and watched his highlights, like, he literally dunked everything.
Yeah.
Like, he caught everything, he dunked everything. And he was the leader of that Magic team that made it to the championship. And when you look at their roster, you're like I recognize the names because I'm huge.
They had Hedo Turkoglu.
They had Turkoglu. I think Jameer Nelson was their point guard. Like, they had a bunch of names that they were good for that Magic team, but they didn't do much else anywhere else they went. Rashard Lewis was on that team. He was pretty good for when he played for the Bucks with Ray Allen. But, like, he brought that team to the finals And now that I think about it, that's absolutely crazy. Like, I disrespected him for the longest time. He's way better than what I remembered. Or maybe I just hate him because he didn't take stuff serious and he was goofy and stuff like that. And a lot of people said he followed Shaq, like whatever Shaq done early in his career, he did the same thing. He was on the Magic and he went to the Lakers. But yeah, and one thing that I mentioned a second ago that I don't know how I didn't put him on my list, Alonzo Mourning. I used to love.
I don't remember if we put him on our power forward list.
No, he was a center. Yeah, he was only like 6'10", but he was definitely a center. But he just didn't have the offensive game. But I loved watching him play because he was high energy. Like every game he played hard. And I mean, he tried to block everything. Yeah. That's why he got dunked on so much. But he tried to block everything. And maybe he shouldn't be mentioned on this list, but he was one of my favorite players to watch growing up.
Another name, Bill Walton. I know he won an MVP, but I just didn't know how good he was. I didn't check to see any stats.
Well, his numbers were terrible, but he didn't play that many years in the NBA. But I think he had like 2 years that he just like dominated. But a lot of NBA players say that he doesn't deserve to be on the top 75, especially when players like Dwight Howard wasn't on the top 75. That was before my time. I just know his overall numbers aren't that good, but I think because he had a lot of injuries, I think he only played like 8 to 10 years. But I don't know a lot about him, but they said that he like transformed the game, and that's why he is considered that high. But I mean, I don't know what he changed about the game.
I don't know what he changed.
I guess I probably need to do a little research on him. But now that we're done with our list, I don't know what we might just come up with things like topics to talk about on the podcast. Like just go over what happened for the week, and then from now on, and then just have certain topics that we talk about. But before we go, like I said, we're recording this on a Friday. Something big is happening tonight. Tyson's fighting Jake Paul. Tyson slapped Jake Paul last night, and Jake Paul tried to say it didn't hurt. And then, but his whole side of his face was red.
Yeah,
and then he was like, "You're gonna die." And I hope Tyson knocks him out, like in the first or second round. Like we're going to the high school football game because our high school team's in the playoffs right now. But I've already downloaded Netflix on my phone, and I'm 100% going to be trying to watch the fight the same time as I'm watching the football game. I don't even care about the football game, to tell you the truth. Like, when the fight's over with, I'll pay attention to the football game. But I'm so excited for this. Like, I know there's a big age difference, but I was young when Mike Tyson was, like, fighting for real. Like, when he was in his prime. So I didn't really get to see – I never watched him live. So this will be my first time ever watching him live, but I've seen his whole fights on YouTube and stuff like that. So I have seen him fight, but I just remember the craziness that happened when he was young. And as much as Jake Paul talks, like, I hope.
Which I will give credit to Jake Paul because I've seen videos of him working as hard as he can
Jake
so he can beat him.
Jake Paul's a good boxer. Like, I've watched him box. He's a good boxer. But he's never been hit like Tyson can hit. And the thing is, people keep saying stuff about like Tyson hitting him in the face. Tyson used to knock people out with body shots because he hit so hard. The only thing is they're using 14-ounce gloves, which are thicker gloves. So the impact isn't going to be as strong, but it's still a Tyson punch.
Yeah.
So even with that extra padding on the gloves, he can still knock him out. Like, I just hope it's not staged. Like, if he knocks him out, I want it to look like a knockout. I don't want it to be like he hit him and Jake Paul just like goes down. Like,
yeah.
But I don't know. I'm super excited about it. I haven't been this excited about a fight since Pacquiao and Mayweather fought, which I went to Tyree's house to watch that one. So I haven't been, and then Pacquiao ended up, like, he was old at that time, so it wasn't like this one where Tyson's like really old. Pacquiao was old. Floyd didn't fight Pacquiao in his prime.
Yeah. And
Pacquiao still rocked him a couple times in that fight, but Floyd was just still in his prime. So Floyd just did what Floyd does and pieced him up. But I'm super excited about it. I hope Tyson knocks him out, but there's a 30-year age difference, so it scares me a little bit because I'm sure Tyson hasn't taken a punch in a long time. Yeah. So it does scare me a little bit for Tyson's health, but I'm super excited about it, and I'm definitely gonna be tuned in and watching it. You got any final thoughts? All right, well, I hope y'all like the podcast. I know it's been a couple weeks. We'll try to get back to doing it every week, but y'all have a good day. Hit that like button, comment down below, and subscribe. Thank y'all.